The slap was loud enough to interrupt the music, a sharp, wet sound that cut through laughter and champagne clinks like a blade through silk. My head turned with it, not from the force, but from the disbelief. She was shaking, not with regret, with rage. "You were my biggest mistake," she said, voice breaking just enough to sound sincere. "I should have never married you." 200 faces turned toward me. Phones paused mid-air. Forks hovered. A room full of witnesses inhaled at once. I tasted copper, not from blood, from restraint. I didn't touch my cheek. I didn't speak. I looked at her the way a surgeon looks at a scan that confirms what he already knew. Behind her, the bride cried softly. The groom stood frozen. Somewhere near the front row, an older man, silver hair, steady posture, rose slowly from his seat, the groom's father. He adjusted his jacket, cleared his throat, and said just 3 words, "John Snow Foster." The room went silent. He didn't finish the sentence yet. He didn't need to. People think betrayal announces itself. It doesn't. It rehearses. Months before the wedding, she had begun correcting me in public, small humiliations, jokes that landed too close to truth, private smiles shared with someone who wasn't me. Her sister's fiancé, now husband, had always lingered, too helpful, too familiar. I noticed the way my wife's voice softened around him, how her phone tilted away when he texted. I told myself it was stress, wedding chaos, family dynamics. Men tell themselves stories because the alternative requires action. Then came the late nights, the sudden secrecy, the unexplained anger directed only at me. I didn't confront her. I listened. I watched. At the wedding rehearsal dinner, she sat 2 seats away from me, never once touched my hand. When I leaned in, she flinched. That was when I understood. Not everything. Enough. Still, I wasn't ready to pull the thread. Not yet. Some knots need time before they unravel cleanly. I stayed quiet. She mistook that for weakness. I did what I always do when something doesn't add up. I audited reality. Phone records first. Deleted messages leave shadows. Patterns never lie. Long calls, late hours, one number repeating like a heartbeat. Then financials, shared accounts, small transfers masked as gifts, hotel charges during family errands. I watched their interactions closely, how he stood too near, how she anticipated his movements, how silence settled comfortably between them. I hired a private investigator without telling anyone. Clean, professional, invisible. The report arrived 2 days before the wedding. Photos, dates, proof. An affair spanning nearly a year. Not just infidelity, planning. They had discussed timing, separation, custody, money. She had already left me, she just hadn't told me yet. I folded the report carefully, placed it in my jacket pocket. I attended the wedding anyway, because some truths deserve an audience. After the slap, after her accusation, the groom's father finally finished his sentence. Owns 70% of this venue. Gasps rippled. He turned to me, not kindly, respectfully. And, he continued, he is also the majority investor in my son's company. The groom's face drained of color. My wife's mouth opened, closed. I reached into my jacket, pulled out the folder, and handed it to her without looking. "Read it later," I said calmly. "You'll recognize the dates." She didn't cry. She collapsed. Not physically, internally. The kind of collapse that leaves a person standing, but empty. I looked at the groom. "Congratulations," I said. "I hope honesty finds you sooner than it found me." No one spoke. They didn't know who to look at anymore. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't demand apologies. I did something far more devastating. I told the truth slowly. About the investigation, about the timing, about the clause in our prenup she never bothered to read. Infidelity voided everything. The house, the accounts, the safety net she'd already spent in her mind. I turned to her sister. "I'm sorry," I said. "You deserved better." Then to the groom, "So did you." The groom's father nodded once, a silent acknowledgement. I removed my wedding ring, placed it on the table beside the cake. It made no sound. That silence echoed louder than the slap. I walked out. No one followed. People later asked if I felt embarrassed. They didn't understand. Public humiliation only works when the victim still cares about perception. I didn't. What I felt was relief. The performance was over. She lost everything trying to destroy me in front of an audience. I gained something quieter: control. I didn't look back at the venue. I didn't wait for explanations. I didn't answer messages that night, or any night after. Some endings don't require closure. They require distance. And as I stepped into the dark, one thought settled calmly in my mind. She called me her biggest mistake. She was right, just not in the way she meant.